The date is currently the 9th of April. We've got about 6, 7, well, with Chelsea, 8 games left in Premier League season. But you can see roughly where teams are going to finish, what company they're in, whereabouts they're going to end up. So let's rank teams on how well the season's done. And I know this might sound crazy, but we are going to take context into account. So just because Sheffield United have finished 20th, for example, don't mean that they've had worse season, because everybody knows Sheffield United are crap. Nobody expected them to do anything. They're a horrendous team. So they're not the worst, you know what I mean? So the categories are straight ass, honking, poor, expected, fairly good, fairly nice, and then good is the best. We're not going alphabetical, we're going bottom to top. And the most underwhelming season in English football this year comes from Burnley. The actual definition of straight ass. Now, I might have taken this too far by saying that Burnley finished 10th. But everybody thought they'd do well. Don't even try and pretend. Every single person thought that Burnley would do well. Maybe not to the extent of top half, like, but everybody thought that Burnley would do well. The Blitzed Championship absolutely took the piss from start to finish, 101 points, playing some very, very nice football. It might have been naive to think that they can go up and play exact same type of style and have success with it. But this is not the same team that got promoted, which is why they've done so bad. Muric, the keeper, has been number 2 to James Trafford. Connor Roberts is on loan at Leeds. Ian Matson's gone to Dortmund from Chelsea. Howard Bellis on loan at Southampton. Nathan Tellen, fair enough, he's gone to Bayern Leverkusen. He's going to win league. So you can't blame him for that one, can you? But the list is honestly endless. And I'm a big, big believer, I've said this before, buying your loans that get you promoted in first place, or even if not, if you have a successful loan and you don't buy them for a reasonable price, you are a donkey. You are stupid. The only reason that Plymouth, for example, haven't been relegated with Rotherham already from Championship is because they bought Morgan Whittaker and Ballymumble last season. 2 of the best players, in fact, they were the 2 best players last season that won them League One. Both loans, bought them both, and now they might have a chance of staying up. Morgan Whittaker's literally the best player and they're going in for about 10 bob. Whereas Burnley have got promoted, spent 100 million quid on 19 new players and expected to stay up. You've got no chance. The first competitive game all these new lads played with each other is against current treble winners Man City. You've not got time to let all your new mates gel together. They're getting thrown straight into the deep end. They're never going to have a chance. It's shocking recruitment, company being too stubborn to change his ways and his style of football, and that's why you're in straight ass on your own. Now, one good thing about this Burnley team is that they are going to keep company, and a lot of these players are young that they've brought in. So it will be a case of them probably just winning league again and coming straight back up. But for this season, they've been crap. They've been terrible. Honking. What can you say? What can even be said about Chelsea anymore? £1 billion bottle jobs. Gary Neville cooked. The best that Chelsea can do this season at an absolute push is they might scam Europa League. €467 million spent in one window. You're not even going to challenge for top European competition. Never mind challenging for league or a trophy or even the big competition. You're challenging for Europa League. If you drop another 500 million quid and you might challenge Aston Villa for top 4. The only shining lights in this Chelsea team really from this season have been Caicedo, who has been good. I will not listen to any Twitter tactical nerd tell me he has been bad. I think Caicedo has been really good this year and has been one of the best players. Regardless of the fact that he cost 100 million quid, he didn't ask to go for that price tag, did he? That's just what he cost, and he's been good. So I'm not having any Caicedo slander over here. And Cole Palmer as well. That's obviously a really, really good buy, and value of money is fruit roof, especially considering Chelsea would probably give 200 million to Man City if they wanted that for him. The only reason that they're not in straight ass, despite all other signings being crap, is that they've improved on last season, believe it or not, because they finished 12th last year, didn't they? So they are getting better. They are getting better. Into poor category, first team we've got in there is Brentford, and they're obviously never going to do as well as they have done the last couple of years because Tony's been out for his gambling thing and Buemo got a big injury. So that's your 2 best players gone for a large part of the season. So it's almost expected that they'll be down here. But the drop-off in terms of quality across board has been shocking. They've comfortably stayed in Prem now for a couple of years by being really hard to beat. And this season it's just gone a complete opposite way, and they're so easy to not lose against. That's not to do with your 2 best players that are both attackers being out. Defensively, something must have changed in how he's setting them up for him to be so bad defensively and constantly concede. They've only got 7 wins all season, do you know what I mean? In fact, 2 other teams have only got 7 wins all season. I'm bringing both of them into here as well, and that's Crystal Palace and Notts Forest, or Nottingham Forest even. They've all got almost identical stats, really. They've all got 7 wins. Brentford and Forest have both got 8 draws and 17 losses, and Palace are a point better off. If we take out the 2 anomalies this season in Burnley and Sheffield United that are just embarrassing, to be honest, then at least 2 of these teams are probably going down. That's how bad they've been. If it weren't such a freak season with two worst Premier League teams ever coming up, then it'd be right. And I know it's what ifs. If my grandmother had wheels, should have been a bike. It's all that crap. But next season, when some proper teams come up, and I know I said this last time about Burnley, but when some proper serious teams come up, you are in trouble. Maybe not Crystal Palace to the same extent because they've got a manager that actually likes to play football now and it's not Woy, do you know what I mean? They've got some exciting young players, stuff like that, Wharton coming in. They make decent signings, Crystal Palace. But Brentford and Forest especially, losing your best players, potential point deduction, just an absolute shit show at Forest. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a long slog next year for you two, I'll tell you that. I'm bringing in Man United into poor as well. Don't for 1 second think they've got away with it. Man United, this is the worst football I have ever seen a Man United team play in my life. Born in 2000, I've watched Man United just win everything constantly. This team is shit. The midfield is horrific. It's so easy to play against. I think I could go in there and do a job against Man United. I really do, because the midfield's crap. They go man for man. And as we saw against Liverpool, you can just drag them wherever you want. McAllister could have gone and stood at corner flag, and Mainu would just be stood next to him. Like, I'd just be there in corner, stood him like this, not doing anything. They create very little. Defensively, they're an absolute joke. They've conceded more shots in Premier League this season. More than Sheffield United as well, who've conceded about 81 goals in 30 games. It's pathetic. This is not a Man United team that any of us are used to seeing. And I don't want to hear out about injuries. I could not give half a fuck. Man United's Z team is more talented than Sheffield United. If you are conceding more shots than one of the worst Premier League teams ever, something is going wrong, regardless of injury. If you're still going to be too stubborn to change your playing styles, this is directly at Ten Hag, who's definitely watching this. If you're too stubborn to change your play style, regardless of injuries that you've got, that is not the fault of the injuries, is it? That's you being too stubborn to change your ways from already honking tactics to begin with. The talent idea of Ten Hag is equally as poor. It's hilarious how bad it is, actually. After all signings that he's brought in and all money that he's spent, I'd say probably two are half decent, and that's Højlund, who's quite good. And even Onana at start, I wasn't completely sold on him, but after what I've just said and the amount of shots that he's conceded, he's up and down more than Rotherham, innit? Amount of shots on his goal. Crap team, crap season, very poor. Into teams that I expect to be there, Everton, they look about right. They've done quite well, to be honest, with points deductions that they've had, but everybody expected them to be in a relegation battle anyway, probably just surviving. It's almost exactly where the majority of people would have had at Everton. I would also have both Brighton and Newcastle in here, which, when they've both been dumped in Europa League and Champions League, it's obviously where you want to be in it, but they've both been sent straight into Europa League and Champions League with squads that aren't fit for it. They're playing a lot more extra games. They're flying all over Europe on random Tuesday and Thursday nights. They haven't got the squads there to do it. So obviously they're not going to perform at the level that they were last season to be able to qualify for it. I think 7th to 10th is about what you'd expect from a team that's squad isn't there yet. And then people are on about how De Zerbi maybe being sacked or on chopping block. What are you on? What world are you living on? Pep couldn't have had these teams back in the same level as they were last year. Nobody could, because the squads are not big enough or good enough to compete. Teams like Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, teams that are in it constantly, they've got 50 players that are of an equal calibre to that of Newcastle or Brighton. Of course they'll be able to keep up in Premier League as well. Teams like Brighton and Newcastle aren't there yet. Teams like maybe West Ham, who I would also have in here, are probably a bit closer. You could probably expect a bit more from West Ham because they've got players like Paqueta, Bowen. They've been able to keep hold of a lot of the good players because they've been challenging for Europe or been in Europe for a number of seasons now, where Newcastle and Brighton haven't. And this is where someone says, oh, but they're on hundreds of thousands of pounds a week. They should be able to do this constantly. You sound like my nan. I would also have Man City in here as the last team that you'd expect. Just won treble, won 3 titles in a row. If they're not in a title race, then something's gone drastically wrong on it. If they were 5-10 points clear, then you could have them up here. But they're in a title race. They're not top at league. I don't think they'll win it. So you'd expect them to be around here. Into a very good category. The first team that goes straight into it for me is Bournemouth. I feel like when you're a team that's the size of Bournemouth, like just a minuscule pub team down south, then staying up is automatically a good season anyway. But this season's been different for them because they honestly look like they're a step closer to being towards maybe Europe contention with your likes of Brighton and Newcastle than they are to a relegation battle. And they'll not get it this season, don't get me wrong. But the way that they're setting up and the style of play that they're playing now under the new manager and the type of players that they're bringing in and the calibre of player that they're bringing in and the age of the player that they're bringing in, next couple of seasons they might be there. Alex Scott, Junior Traore, Justin Kluivert, Max Aarons, Milo Kirkus from Alkmaar. Every player they've signed this season is 24 or under. And the mid-table wheeze, they're not even close to being in a relegation battle. And yeah, they spent 100 million quid as well. Let's not forget that. But who don't spend 100 million quid? Even if you are Bournemouth size or Man United size, everybody's spending 100 million quid, so it don't mean out, does it? Another one that's done quite well, Fulham, I'd say. Fulham started season quite well, but it's one of them. As soon as they get to like the points needed to stay up, Fulham, they're on beach, aren't they? They don't care anymore. They get to about 35 points and that's it. They're not interested, which is very Fulham. It's very on brand. They're so incredibly boring, never do out. They're just there. So, well done, Fulham again. You've stayed up. Jesus. Another very good season for Wolves. I thought they'd struggle big time. I think I had them to go down, actually, my prediction to start the season. I thought they had firepower in them. They didn't have enough goals in them. They've not got a number 9 that some other teams around them have got. Like, Brentford have got Tony. Newcastle have got Isaac. Forest have got Awani. Fulham have got Muniz. Do you know what I mean? Like, all these teams have got serious number 9s that Wolves don't have. Wolves' better players are quite injury prone now, like Neto. New manager in Gary O'Neill. A lot of things changed at once in this season for Wolves. So for him to have been like mid-table top halfish, I think is really, really good. And Gary O'Neill's a top gaffer. And I thought Bournemouth at time actually were quite wrong to get rid of him, but obviously it's worked out for everybody, so everybody wins. After very good, we've got very nice. So Arsenal, the first very nicer. As I'm recording this, the top at league, the 1 point between three of them with Liverpool and City. And obviously I expected them to do well. I think every man and his dog had them to finish top 4. But I did think that they would have a drop-off compared to last season. Which can go one or two ways, can't you? After you're so far in front in a title race, to then bottle it the way Arsenal did, I feel like you can either drop off or come back a lot stronger, and that's exactly what Arsenal have done. They've made good signings that have won important trophies that is going to be important for what I'm about to say. They've kept the best players. They've kept the manager who's going to be sought after. Arteta with Spanish clubs, they'll be looking at him and wanting him. They play best football in the league. They're doing well in Champions League as well. Somebody's coming though, get ready. I still think they're a bit soft, to be honest. It's famous Arsenal soft underbelly in it. Like last season, as we've seen, they haven't got the bite really to get over the line, and I think it'll be the same again. And it'll be down to Champions League that they're in. City being in Champions League don't mean anything because they've been in it for years. Liverpool are only in Europa League, so that's not as taxing, is it? Like playing a team like Atalanta is nowhere near as exhausting physically or mentally as playing Bayern Munich. And then if you get past Bayern Munich, then you're going to be playing Man City or Real Madrid. I feel like playing massive games of this caliber every other Tuesday or Thursday, whatever it is going to bite them in arse. I don't think they'll be able to keep up the form in league because I do think they will focus on Champions League, like just instinctively. I feel like Bayern Munich is going to take a lot out of them, and then if they go to like Bernabeu, something like that, they're going to be knackered. They'll be fucked. I just can't see them winning every game, which I think is probably what's needed to win Premier League this season from now to end. And don't get me wrong, Arsenal are the best team in league this season. They are the best team. They play best football, but I don't think they'll win it. I think these lads will win it. I think Liverpool are going to win it. And I don't want it to be like a prediction video, this, like me saying, oh, I think this will happen. I'm going off what's happened already and where teams are. But Liverpool have done really, really well, despite all their injuries, to keep up with Man City and Arsenal. However, they are not in good for one reason and one reason alone. This is Klopp's farewell tour. Okay, this Premier League season is getting a big fat asterisk next to it again. Since the announcement of Her Majesty leaving Klopp at end of season, every 50-50 is going one way only, and that's to Liverpool. So, one COVID title, which don't count, and then another title that were for Klopp's farewell tour. So, neither of these two titles for Liverpool count. So, they're on less than Blackburn still. And another top drawer is Spurs. I really, really like the managerial appointment. I think he's a top guy, mate. I mean, before this season, Spurs have effectively been a one-man band with Kane, haven't they, for years, with Son doing triangle in background. But Kane has just ran that show, start to finish, for years on end. They've sold him, made some decent signings, like Maddison, Van der Ven, Vicario, for example. Good signings. But rest of them, I'm not that impressed with. They should be shit. Tottenham should be crap, and they've got better. I don't know how they've done it. Like, I'm not exactly overly impressed with all the signings that they've done. The football that they play is all right. It's nothing like crazy. They started really well, didn't they? Everybody will put him in like a title race near the start. But for him to have lost Kane, who's probably the best player that they've ever had, Tottenham, to then finish at least 3 places higher and be in Champions League for next season at least. Good season, man. Genuinely really good season. My final top draw, it's Barnsley North. It's Barnsley on steroids. Every decent player that we've ever had is there. I think that regardless of if Luton go down third bottom, if they stay up, that is still a very, very good season based on what the general people think. Because as soon as Luton got promoted, everyone has just seen the badge, they've seen the ground, they've seen the players, they've seen that they've not been in Premier League, they've not been in top flight for years, and automatically assume that they're just going to go down or come 20th. And that's not case. You guys don't watch football, man. You Prem dopes don't watch Championship. Luton are a great side, and they've got the fate that Sheffield United or Burnley don't have, and that's why they're still in a chance of staying up and other two aren't. Even if they go down, it's a good season. Honestly, they've bettered. I think they've finished better than the last season for the past like 12 years. The graph of them in season just goes like that constantly. And obviously, even if they come 20th, it'll be better than last season. But I think they can be proud of what they've done, whereas a lot of these teams below them can't really. Luton can be proud of what they've achieved, even if the achievement is going down third bottom. I think they should be happy with what they've done. You're probably still wondering why one of the worst football teams in Premier League history is still here, and that's because they are my goers. Entertainment value through the absolute roof. I have never enjoyed watching a team get raw dogged as much in my life. I'm loving it. Every single weekend, it's just, I wonder how many they're going to concede today. You're not wondering about score, about result, anything. You just want to know how many they're going to concede. And to be honest, they've massively defied my expectations by not breaking lowest points record. As soon as they got to 12, I were impressed, honestly. That really good year for Sheffield United. You should be happy. And my other goat, my actual goat, the best season in Premier League this season is for Aston Villa. They're going to finish in a Champions League place, whether it is 4th or 5th, it don't matter. They're going to finish in Champions League. For a large part of this season, they were keeping up with that front three that were Arsenal, Liverpool and Man City. Unbelievable at home. They had that running where they won like 12 games in a row. I think only Liverpool have probably bettered that this season. But now they're equally as good away as they are at home. I think taking everything into account, a team breaking into top 4 that ain't one of your big sixers is a serious achievement. Since Leicester won league, only Newcastle have finished in top 4 that in a big sixer. So that shows you what type of achievement this is. It's very much a closed shop with elites in this country. And Aston Villa, even though they're like teetering on being one, have broken into it. And it's something that's obviously a massive achievement because nobody's done it. Well, only Newcastle have done it since Leicester. It's very, very impressive. Emery's a brilliant manager. They've got some brilliant players. They're really picky with the type of player they're bringing now because they're not bringing like 8 or 10 in at once or 19 like Burnley are. They're bringing in 1 or 2 that are Champions League quality to build a Champions League team. Really good business. Really good everything from top to bottom at Villa. Very good season as well. The goers. But that's table done. So let me know what you think. Let me know who's going to win league, who's going down. Let me know how many points Barnsley win the league by next season. Let me know everything. Let me know what time of day it is. Let me know where you're from. Let me know if you're in bed. Thanks a lot for watching as always, gents. Love you all, and I'll see you in a bit.